Hello and welcome to Knock of the Perch, a Manchester United podcast. And we are back on the back of a tragic loss, I would say, in the Europa League final to Tottenham Hotspurs. We went into the game with high expectations. We had built a lot of hopes around this game, but all of them came down crashing with that nil-1 defeat. Hi Dheeraj, this has been a bit of a difficult week, I think, for Manchester United fans all around. How are you? How it has been for you?
Yeah, it hasn't been good. It hasn't been well. It was a well-deserved defeat, I'd say. It was in the making. Spurs came with a plan. They executed it. We were the team who looked bereft of a plan there. Even though stats say we had like 70, more than 70% position, we had 16 shots. It was never a good look when we were watching the game. Nowhere during the game did we feel confidence in United making a comeback. And this is something which I rarely say. I rarely switch off United, before the 95th, 98th minute. But during this game, there was no inventive passing, there was no risk creation. Even our best players didn't shine this day. And I could see this day was coming. It was a toss. This was a match. It was a toss of a coin. Either team could have won it. They're both doing so bad in the Premier League, and yeah, this is where the coin landed. We have to face this. We have to face the consequences of everything that has gone on with the club in the last
Yeah.
decade. And yeah, this is the culmination of it, and this is when we face the music.
Yeah, and I think what really impacted me as somebody who's been looking forward to the Amorim system really clicking was every dice that he rolled, whether it was starting with Mount instead of Garnacho, whether it was starting Bruno in the pivot with Casemiro and dropping Ugarte, whether it was Shaw starting on that left center back, all of them failed. All of them bombed on that day. Bruno perhaps had one of his worst games, and we have seen this tendency from Bruno that, uh, out of the blue, he will have one match where he's not able to create any
Mhm.
impact. But this was the worst day for that to happen because this is the day we expected him to control the game, drive our performances. And that just didn't happen. And probably Euro was the best player, if we can even classify anyone like that on the pitch for us that day. But all in all, it was just, Amrim's management came out uh, shorter of the expectations in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the starting lineup. A lot of people have also pointed it to the late subs that he made. Mary, the subs, we had a really good subs. We had a really good bench for this match, and
Yeah.
could have brought on Menu at a good time. Could have brought on Zerzi maybe for a good amount of time. Could have brought on Ugarte. There are a lot of players who could have changed the game. Or Garnacho in his 20-30 minutes did much more than what Mount did. I half-heartedly agree with Garnacho on his bad treatment for this. I felt he deserved to start the match. Although, like deep down, I did feel that Mount had done just enough to prove that he was worthy of being in the starting 11 for the final. But yeah, you are right. All the gambles failed on a day when they shouldn't have failed. You were unbeaten going into Europe before this game, and yeah, the final loss does hurt.
Yeah. And the fact that in the Premier League we have been so poor, we put all the eggs in the Europa League basket. It was an expectation that we will come out of this. Obviously, everybody was joking about the fact that lads, it's Spurs, right? But the fact of the matter was that Spurs have beaten us in the last three games going into the Europa League final. We haven't defeated them in like, what, 4 years now. So it wasn't going to be an easy game, and that is what it proved. And which has landed us in a big, big soup. Overall, I think this has by far been the worst season in the years that we have been following Manchester United. If we go by the stats, we haven't had such a poor season since 1990, 1991, when we last finished in bottom half of the Premier League. And obviously, this is, if we go back like 50 years, in 1974 when we got relegated. This is, this is one better than that. We have just managed to not get relegated. In other competitions, we have not done anything. And the expectation, we have always talked about the fact that, it can't get worse than that, can it? Like, we are too big to be relegated. But what do you make this of this entire scenario? We never expected to finish 16th either, right?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest worry is where do we go on from here? Of course, after Sir Alex Ferguson, we have seen so many lows that you become kind of numb, but still you feel that, they'll end up revolving around the sixth, seventh, eighth position like we've been doing in the past few years. But last year was our worst ever, and we attributed that to the injuries throughout the campaign. We gave Ten Hag the leeway that the whole year it was injury hit. This year hasn't been any great. Like we dipped into the market, we bought new players, changed the manager midway, didn't seem to have an impact. I'm pretty sure Amorim is disappointed as we are in this team, in himself, in his management. Maybe it would have been the case that a more pragmatic manager would have landed us 2 or 3 places above. But to be very honest, I don't see the same set of players finishing anything above 13th and 14th, because fact of the matter is all the other teams above us have improved their squads, their tactics, their playing styles, and we have just stagnated. The gap to the top of the table is something we don't shouldn't even talk about right now, but it hasn't been as big as it is today.
Yeah. So the only slight difference I have from your opinion there is that I have a feeling that had we got a manager who would have looked at, what to fix in the short term, probably, somebody would have been able to implement it to the best, could have gotten us like top 9, top 8, something that like that. And which is where I believe that if this current squad were to peak, their ceiling is not better than 6th and 7th, right? So even if they were to succeed in 1.5 seasons, they would have probably gotten to a top 6, probably reached Europa League again. And we have got a manager who really wants to take this club back to the top. Now, probably the road is going to be very rocky. He sounded us off right in the beginning, saying that the storm is going to come, and the storm has come, and how for that matter, right? So, I believe there was a possibility we could have got somebody who would have stuck to finding a system which works with the current set of players, got us that top 8, probably something like a Europa Conference League, etc. But I think where we are today is a fair reflection of what all has happened with the club over the years. It has brought us to this place, and hopefully from here, the only way is up. Hopefully, Amarim gets a few of his players. We don't know how many of his players he'll be able to get. He gets a few who can be positioned in the right squad. M- Most weeks he will have a game to manage. He can train the hell out of these players, get him ready for this, and then get going up to the top. But just on that aspect, rebuilding the squad will itself become very difficult for the very reason is that this season, and I'm not just talking about the Europa League game, that one game, although has a major impact, just this entire season has a big impact on what our financial situation is going to be uh, in the coming seasons. Not like before this season, as a club that is being managed by certain professionals, etc. We've been doing great. Our pre-tax income has been negative for the last 5 seasons since 2020. We haven't had a season where our net operating income, where you look at revenues, you look at the expenses, has been positive. So we are been spending more than our income has been for like 5 years now. That goes on to show, how poor a club has been. And if I were to invest my money in any of these, like, you think about, okay, just as a tokenism, should you buy a Manchester United share, etc. But the point is, look at this club. How is it managed? Forget what is happening on the field. No sane person would invest in an organization like this, which is, has been giving net operating income as negative, has been in debt all this while. And coming to this season, yeah, yeah, go on.
The value of a share when when Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought his stakes were $33 per share.
He bought it for 33 per share. They were around 20. The actual value of share was around 20 for public. He bought it for 33. Yeah.
And now it's 13.
Yeah. I think maybe that prompts the Glazer family to sell this, do a full sale, get whatever value. There were again rumors floating that uh, Saudi Sheikh Jassim has again put up a bid or is talking about a bid. Probably they are all false alarms and some clickbaity stuff that is happening. But yeah, hopefully this prompts the Glazers to actually sell it. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is that had we even performed equivalent to last season, which we were anyway saying is a very poor season, right? That would, just from the Premier League prize distribution through satellite rights, etc., we would have made 20 to 25 million more. And obviously, this Europe defeat in the Europa League final has probably caused us a dent equivalent to 40, 45, 50 million in that range. This includes Adidas will lower their sponsorship fee because no Europe. This includes the fact that we will have less home games, at least 4 league home games we would have had we qualified for the Champions League. This includes the fact that you get 15, 16 million as prize money for just qualifying to the league stage. So all that combined, we are net, 65 to 80 million negative on the back of this season. And I think what this is going to do is going to cause a ripple effect into making sure that we are not able to make big signings. We are having a slow rebuild. What are your thoughts on that? Does it impact United in a big way, or we will have way out of this?
Oh, definitely it does. But I'm pretty sure the management knew going into this single game. Amorim talked about the two plans that United had. Of course, now we go ahead with the plan wherein we don't have this round about 100 million if we include opportunity loss as well.
Yeah.
Of course, we will have a slower rebuild, but I think the bigger thing that United should be concentrating on right now is the exits, offloading the players who have like are way well past their expiry date. Of course, not having European competition and not having this money would be detrimental to a rebuild. But stranger things have happened. I still believe if we get the right players and get the players who have to get out, we might end up doing something big next year. And doing something big next year is just improving from the 16th position to ending up at 6th, 7th, 8th position. That seems to be the ceiling for this team.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, I think in the operating plan that was prepared, and there was some reports coming out that I think United have factored for finishing in top six and qualifying for the Europa League next season, so that the monies that they have factored in budgeted are depending on that. So I think that is the immediate target for this squad, to be able to get top six, maybe reach Europa League again, and then sort of build on from there. But I think time will tell how we go about it.